Thanks, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this hearing, another very valuable session in the development of strategic concepts and initiatives. And I want to thank both of you for being here and for your very, very important insights and information. I want to come back to undersea warfare that was raised by Senator Reid because it's identified in the report as the area of our greatest asymmetric advantage right now, but only if we continue to invest in it. We have a technological edge, but the Chinese and Russians and others are seeking to catch us. And so my question, Dr. Green, is how should we target that investment to make sure we preserve and even enhance that advantage undersea?
Some of this, Senator, is in the classified report we provided, and I'm certain that our colleagues would be happy to come and brief you on some of the specific ideas.
I would welcome that.
Yeah. The one area we emphasized in the unclassified report is deployment forward.
Deployment of another 6.
Yeah, to us it makes sense to put more Los Angeles class in Guam and eventually Virginia class.
But you also identify as critical the Ohio replacement program, and that will take a major investment. So my question is, in targeting resources, how would you suggest that we preserve that as a priority of the Navy?
Well, as General Conan said earlier, of the different assets we want forward deployed to have a credible deterrent, submarines are at the top of the list. I'd say followed closely by amphibious capabilities for the Marines. But I should let General Conan answer.
Yes, sir. Senator, as I said before, it's such a valuable strategic asset that it does so many different missions. And I'm talking the subs, and we're looking at unmanned systems that go along those subs. Nobody's going to match that. Nobody can match our submarine crews. Nobody can match our ability to go out and patrol and do what needs to be done in those special collection missions and other things they do anywhere else in the world. And it's something we shouldn't back away from, and I think it's something we'll have as a superior capability for some time to come. So I would be, again, really looking hard at how we do that investment. There is a part of the nuclear piece you need to look at as part of the triad that needs to be replaced, and that's another deterrence value that sends a strong message, sir.
The amount of the investment in the Ohio replacement is so large, $100 billion. Shouldn't the funding for it come from the DOD as a whole, not limited to the Navy budget?
Being a former programmer in the Marine Corps, I used to hear those conversations about HMX and other things that people said they can't afford to fund. At the end of the day, the Navy has that, I think, responsibility. Whether they get a bigger share of the pie than others, I'm all for that. But I don't know who else would. I mean, I don't know how you do that other than creating a firestorm for the Pentagon comptroller, which he can handle.
To shift to the unmanned undersea vehicles, is our investment sufficient now?
From what I've looked at, I think you're doing well. I think you do a little bit more as you look at maybe doing some aspect of unmanned systems that have other things in them that pop up and all of a sudden in a battle space can contribute to that knowledge and to that ability to control it. It's a little bit classified, but again, it's talking generalities here. I think the Navy's doing a very, very good job at looking at that. I was briefed on that right before I left PACOM. So again, but I'd watch a close eye. It may become a bill payer as other things come due.
And I just want to finish in the seconds I have left to ask you about institutionalizing a culture of experimentation, which I view as a very promising vision, the idea of the red and green teams and awarding citations, so forth. Has that been proposed before, and has it been ever implemented in the Department of Defense or our intelligence community?
Yes, we've used that numerous times as we looked at looking at different O plans. But my experience with General Krulak back during his commandant days, when he said, we don't have any money, but we have our brains. And so you can apply a very small investment into this red team, blue team, gold team, white team, whatever you want to call it, and apply the intellectual rigor against how should we be doing things different. And that was when I talked about these new conceptual pieces that we're going to have to think about.
And that's one of the recommendations of
Yes.
the report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And you've seen that being done up at the Naval War College and all the Air War College and Marine Corps War College. You're starting to look at these new concepts, but you ought to get the service labs really involved in what's the art of the possibility, because sometimes you're just going to study something you're not going to gain for 20 years, and you don't have the time and investment.
Thanks very much.